4% of cars today are made in matte paint. That's not a lot of cars. But if you figure that 4% of cars are going to people who probably give a crap about their car. So how many people buy cars and just park it and run it through a tunnel wash and be done with it and think they're doing what they're supposed to be doing to take care of their car? We're not worried about those people. People who are buying matte cars are generally car people. More importantly, people who buy matte cars generally own more than one car. Usually more than two. So the buying process for a matte car usually goes something like, oh man, I love matte cars, I want to have a matte car. I'm going to order said matte car. My dealer just called me, my matte car's in. I can go pick up my matte car. I get home with my matte car. I'm going to YouTube on how to take care of my matte car, and I am going to freak myself out now. And that's when they call you guys. Because they are paranoid and they do not want to screw up their six-figure investment. So, very important to get that matte customer, be your area's matte paint expert. This is where you want to get out. You want this on your web page. You know, people know Dr. Beasley's. That's what put us on the map. That's what we're known best for. So capitalize on that. Get after that business, because if you save that matte customer's matte car, you know what that leads to? The rest of their cars. So with that, I'm in.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, that was great. So, and again,
Stop
guys,
line.
these paint codes, they're special requests. Like you have to put an order in on them, or it's an additional add-on. So people are paying money for this paint. Like Chris said, if they're paying extra money for it, they probably care about it and they want it taken care of. So a lot of you guys haven't worked on my matte paint. Just a brief overview. It's basically the best way to explain it. It's a very porous surface area, and that's why you get that kind of diffused look to the paint. There's texture to it. There's hills and valleys. The last thing you want to do is, number one, level those, so that's why we can't polish it, or fill them. That's why you can't wax it, seal it, or put a regular coating on the surface, because essentially what we're doing on that vehicle or the Daytona and all that stuff is filling up the leftover pores and scratches on the surface with the builder and also the regular traditional gloss ceramic coating. Now, you're going to have customers that call you, that have called other detailing companies. All you got to do is ask them, what coating were they going to use on your car? They say Ceramic Pro, all you're gonna say is, they're wrong. Well, why? Now, explain it to them. They don't have matte care products. They're gonna put a traditional gloss coating on your vehicle. And gloss coatings are glossy coatings. Why would you wanna put that on your matte or satin finish, right? And after you explain that to the customer, usually like, wow, you're right. And then you tell them you have a dedicated product that's backed by Genesis as well, and other manufacturers, and has a reputation and was the first to the market, so has the best reputation on the market as well when it comes to protection for these types of surfaces. Typically, you can win them over from that.
I think I'm going to say a lot of chemical companies and coating companies say it is compatible. Yeah, it's not gonna. The paint's not gonna fall off or this or that. It's supposed to be glossy as hell. It's gonna be wrong.
Yeah.
It might be compatible, but being the right OEM look.
Exactly. I spoke to a chemical manufacturer about using their product on a matte finish, and he said, yeah, it works great. It adds a little bit of gloss and a sheen to it, but you can make it, like, it works. I'm like, how does that make any sense at all? You know? Adds a little bit of a gloss and the sheen, changes it slightly, but not a big deal. No, it's a bit, we're detailers, it's a big deal, So the first thing you want to do is make sure you go through a proper wash. You can use matte decon, the matte body wash on the vehicle. Nothing with any fillers. You want to avoid using a ceramic body wash and stuff like that. From there you got matte paint cleanser. This is all you're going to need on a vehicle like this. Matte paint cleanser pro is for more advanced deconning of the surface. So let's say you got some tar and things stuck on the surface like that. But super simple. You're obviously not going to clay the surface. Just spray it on. You spray a couple on the panel. I'm just going to go ahead and gently wipe it in. In a vehicle this clean, that's all you got to do. You can spray more thoroughly and let it sit there as well for a few seconds and then wipe off, but that's it. I'll be completely honest with you guys, we already prepped this whole thing for you. I'm just giving you a quick example on how easy it is to work, okay? But after that, you coat. That's how simple it is. There's no polishing, there's no claying. So honestly, at the end of the day, matte paint is a lot easier to actually get protected and cared for than traditional gloss paint. And it's cool because the texture finish is going to hide any type of micro mark or swirl marks. If you do get a scratch on it, kind of screwed. The only other solution from there is PPFing the area with stealth PPF for it to be hidden basically after that point, okay? Again, two-part system. You have your matte paint coating pro prep. This is again just setting anchor points on the actual matte surface so you can go ahead and apply the actual coating itself. This is going to be applied dry to the surface. What's unique about the matte lineup is that they get applied with water. So you have to use deionized water on the surface with the coating application. It basically becomes almost like an activator and transfer solution on the surface, especially with Pro. Same thing, it's a super tacky kind of coating. And when you're working on a already textured surface, it just becomes a little bit difficult. So the water is kind of going to assist you with the application and the buff up as well. Make sense? Anybody have any questions on that? Super simple this stuff too. Kind of goes on like Builder. And here's the cool thing, right? We have a gloss stripe over here.
Yeah.
The sun is a star, but not every star is a sun. Same thing goes with this type of situation. Matte paint coating pro, matte paint coating can go on gloss, but you don't want to do it the other way around. You want to use a gloss coating on a matte surface. So we can use this stuff on your headlights, on the vinyl, on the gloss piano. You might not get the same durability as what you would get on the matte paint, but you can apply it and it won't harm the surface. It's still going to benefit the surface of the vehicle. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey Chris, you can apply this with a towel too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right to your big mega applicator.
Yeah. I'm just doing it the slow way for you guys. We're gonna go YouTube style, so the keyboard warriors don't complain. You know? So you can do that method with an applicator pad. The buff off. Or
So you don't necessarily have to use the water with it?
No, we haven't done the coating yet.
We haven't done the
That comes
coating.
in
Oh, that's the,
we haven't done the coating yet.
Let me shut the door up.
It's just a thing
Hey,
people use
ask
for
him
stuff
now, ask him
for
now.
2 years.
I mean, I didn't say it, bro. You said it. I'm not gonna lay down the water. That's all I'm doing here, okay?
Let's use right here.
This is the, yeah. It's like basically builder.
Just like that. I also want you guys to take note. Look at the surface tension on this panel. Perfectly flat. There's no waxes, no sealants, there's no oils, ready for coating application. You get what I'm saying? So, after you get complete coverage on the panel, you're going to go ahead. Very similar to how we were doing Pro. Go ahead, prime your pad, your applicator, I should say.
Are we putting on the matte pro or?
Yeah, this is matte coating Pro.
Okay.
Same thing for this one, you want to cap it. It's a solid formula, so it does cure on you pretty quick. And then I'm going to go ahead and work it section by section.
So just to mention, guys, when it comes to the Pro, it's generally something we advise you to use it that day. Can you cap it super tight and put it on the shelf and stuff like that? Sure. But it's all relative. If you got a quarter left in the bottle, that's a lot of air in that bottle. What happens when air starts hitting this product? It starts to crystallize. And our biggest worry is that, especially when those crystals are on the rim, you stick your pipette in there and knock off that crystal, it sinks down to the bottom, you suck up that crystal, you lay that crystal down on your suede and you drag it across your customer's hood. Now you drag it across their gloss hood, you made your life difficult. You drag it across their matte hood, you just bought them a paint job. So this is where we're saying, like, yes, can you cap one on the shelf? Sure. Am I necessarily going to do that? No. I'm going to give my customer maximum value and I'm going to use up this entire bottle on this car as much as I can. When it comes to the other, matte paint coating standard, nano-resin MX, oh, thanks, dude. Pass
What's
it
the
around.
curing time?
45 seconds a minute.
Thanks.
Here's
Here's
ready to
and
go.
No, for what we're doing right now.
Oh, okay.
You know? Alright, so it's been about 45 seconds for the first one over here. We're going to go ahead and use the leveling towel.
Is it as syrupy?
No.
Not as bad as Pro.
Nano-resin is probably the most difficult to work with. But it's funny, that's so you get the best results. Ain't that always the way? You put in the most work, you get the best results. The one thing with matte, and I always kind of laugh at it, is it is a kind of anticlimactic delivery to your customers.
Yeah.
It's like, look at your car, that looks exactly how you dropped in shit.
Literally,
You know,
the first
apply
time,
it.
first time I applied it with John, I just stood back. I'm like, well, that wasn't exciting. Just walked away. It doesn't look like here. Come take a look. Come take a close up. We just coated that. That fender's not coated. Absolutely no difference in sheen, shine, nothing. That's what's supposed to happen. Okay. So one thing you guys got to watch out for though is that because we do have water as kind of like a carrying solution, that water can carry the coating and it can drip down into other areas and it can cure. I say this from experience. Watch out for that. You want to make sure after you finish a section, like that water right there could be carrying coating right now. I want to make sure I buff it off and level it, you know?
Another thing I see Christian do, he opens doors, opens hoods, just pops them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, make sure, I mean, so that instead of going over the seams and stuff like that, because then you're coating in there, if you don't take the time to pop that and make sure you clean it off, well, what happens? You're gonna have high spots on all those seams. Someone's gonna pop that hood. I mean, I'm looking to check to see if a car's ever been painted. What's the first thing I do? I start feeling around.
Yeah.
I start thinking this car's been painted. 'Cause that feels like a tape line. No, that's not a tape line. That's someone just not being clean with their takeoff on their coating.
So let's go ahead and start coating. What do you guys think?